For over 30 years, 10 bodies, 3 initials which struck terror in the heartlands of America.
B stands for bind, T stands for torture, and K stands for kill. Bind, torture, kill.
A serial killer so deadly, even the police feared where he would strike next.
I was terrified that this guy was maybe going to come after my family.
We go inside police files, piece together the forensic evidence, and reveal the true story of the hunt for one of the world's most wanted.
Hands up! Out of the car now!
Wichita, Kansas, built on the prairie flats of the Midwest. Honest, God-fearing, middle America. The biggest city in the state they call the Buckle on the Bible Belt. A community where people felt safe leaving their doors unlocked, until a serial killer began to prowl the streets. For over 30 years, 2 generations of detectives hunted Wichita's serial killer. Lieutenant Landwehr headed the BTK task force.
We knew sooner or later he will kill again if we fail in our attempt.
BTK first struck in 1974. What detectives found at the scene haunted former Chief of Police Richard LeMunyon for decades.
This is the house where it all started. This is where BTK made his first hit over 30 years ago. Most of our homicides were the domestic type, the smoking gun, bar fights, things of that nature. But this particular one was highly unusual, took all of us by surprise.
The wood frame house was home to the Otero family, who had only just moved into the area. Joseph was an Air Force veteran, and his wife Julie worked in the local factory.
It was very shocking for the officers when they came up. They found the parents face down in their own bedroom, fully clothed, obviously strangled, bags over their head.
The strangled corpse of 9-year-old Joe Jr. was in another bedroom. But police were still to make another horrific discovery. His 11-year-old sister, Josephine.
Josephine had been put through a different type of death than the others. He took her downstairs, and she was obviously alive. He had put a rope around her neck and over some pipes, and he would raise her up, and as she was dying, and he was masturbating at that time. So she was the target, the primary target, I believe, for this.
The other 3 Otero children had only escaped because they were at school when the killer attacked. The killer had made certain there was no call for help, disabling the phone line before entering the house.
That's what led the investigators to thinking that this couldn't be a random thing. People just don't walk in off the street and murder a family. You couldn't get your mind around that. That didn't happen in Wichita, Kansas.
But Wichita was different now. BTK had arrived. January 1974. The Wichita Police Department was searching for the brutal murderer of the Otero family. The victims, a mother, father, and 2 of their children. All 4 had been asphyxiated and strangled.
Why would someone do this to a family? No one would do this just to go in and do it. There had to be a reason for it.
Police thought there could be a sexual motive due to evidence left at the scene.
They were focusing on seminal fluid that was deposited near the body of Josephine Otero. They were primarily interested in determining the blood group if possible.
Blood typing suggested the killer was blood type O. But that's the commonest type. 40% of people are type O. Before the use of DNA, the test could only narrow down the suspect list so far. For 9 months, police followed up every lead they had. Witnesses provided descriptions and identikits were drawn up. Then, in October 1974, 3 men confessed to murdering the Oteros. But one person knew they were lying.
Those 3 dudes you have in custody are just talking to get publicity for the Otero murders. They know nothing at all. I did it by myself, and with no one's help.
Only the letter's author knew the horrific details.
Josephine, hanging by the neck in the northwest part of the basement. Hands tied with bind cord, feet with clothesline cord. Her glasses in the southwest bedroom.
Only the killer would know. None of this had been released publicly.
FBI profiler Roy Hazelwood has analyzed BTK's behavior.
It is unusual for a serial killer to correspond following the commission of a crime. BTK certainly suffered from malignant narcissism. And that's when you begin to consider yourself superior to others, that you're incapable of making mistakes, and you have a desperate need for attention.
He had typed this letter, took it to the city library, and then he called one of the local newspaper reporters.
BTK craved attention and used his letter to taunt the police. He dared them to catch him before he struck again.
When this monster enters my brain, I will never know. Maybe you can stop him. I can't. He has already chosen his next victim. The code words for me will be bind them, torture them, kill them. BTK. They will be on the next victim.
He's a psychopath, and a psychopath is a very manipulative individual. He's an individual who manages to compartmentalize. In other words, he can separate out what's taking place from his involvement.